We will pass the Finance Bill 2023 whether you like it or not. Those are President William Ruto's words in response to Raila Odinga's agitation towards this bill against the wish and the will of Kenyans. In this podcast, I want us to walk through 8 dubious strategies, the dirty schemes that has been put in place and are being done in the back room to make sure that William Ruto's inaugural budget goes through by hook or crook, believing that this is unstoppable. I think I said I fancy newspapers. Yes, because they're normally more detailed. Someone asked me, Kevin, why do you prefer newspapers? I don't have time for watching news. I fancy newspapers. Housing levy is unstoppable. President tells Raila. This is what your president, William Ruto, told Raila yesterday in Busia. Now, there are 2 stories I want to show you here. One is a meeting that the UDA, the executive member, the UDA team, met with the PG, the members of parliament, and took them through the housing levy for close to 7 hours. And at the end of it, something happened. Then on Friday, the president also met with KUPPET and KNUT. Those are trade representatives of teachers. And according to the report from there is that they never reached an agreement because the teachers union demanded that for them to support the 3% deduction, mandatory deduction, then the government should consider reviewing their salary upwards so that they can be cushioned from inflation that is currently in this country. But they fell out, they never agreed, and KUPPET, they went back and told their members what has happened. There was another meeting to be slated, to be organized, but it seems no deal was reached. However, some people have started changing tunes. I want us to go through this, what is being done. This is normally unusual analysis. We normally use the 3. But let me take you 3 so that you get what exactly is going on. When President Ruto met the MPs, we understand there was a personal fortune, a bribe of close to 100,000, each signed just to appease them so that they pass the bill as it is. And it is understood if teachers, if MPs who are political friends can be bribed, then we will not be right to say that even those other groupings, even the unions, are being, there is also that strategy being laid. And I understand that's why there is a very huge budget allocation in the State House, because you're going to ask yourself, where does that money come from? Don't be myopic enough to think that someone uses his money to do it. No, there's nothing like that. Now, apart from it, just towards about the unions, they've been told, they're actually saying that having talked to the president, they walked out disappointed because William Ruto is not willing to change his position, and they seem to say that president told them that they either choose their unions or the 3% levy. in the sense that if they can't accept the 3% levy, he's saying the president has made up his mind on the finance bill that it must be passed. We made our submissions and he made his, but we didn't agree. He's saying a proposal to make housing scheme voluntary, the response wasn't, he refused. Support the housing scheme or be prepared to disband your organizations. That's what is in that newspaper. That newspaper saying they were told that to support the housing or you disband the organizations. Remember, even those organizations are supposed to pay tax, those trade unions. But if you ask me, this could be, I think Ruto can shelve the small ones, like not tax trade unions so that the housing levy is done. It could be some few wins here and there to excite the process, but get the greater goal. So that is one. If trade unions are saying, if you don't support, then we deregister you. Kubaya. I realized a man I really hold of high regard, P.S. Hinga, while speaking in Spice FM today. He's telling us about how he met Raila in 2012 about the housing fund, and that Azimio la Umoja also had the same provision, also had a stand about the housing. The difference is how they are doing it. So he's saying that Raila is opposing it. So the strategy here is to do propaganda on Raila's stand. It is true Raila Odinga supported the housing fund, and Azimio la Umoja had their percentage to be 1.5%. But Kenya Kwanza did not say how. In fact, they had a project on housing, but they could not go out and loud with it because it was Uhuru Kenyatta's and they did not want to be seen as if they are copying something from Uhuru Kenyatta. So Kenya Kwanza brought in the 3% bit. So the strategy being seen here is just use of propaganda, because at this moment, I think the PS should not drag Raila Odinga's name, because what Raila Odinga said then, or what Raila Odinga stood for, does not add value to what they've done, because they've also dismissed Raila's question on this. I don't think Raila has objected a housing plan. You know, that is the propaganda. The propaganda they're doing here is that Raila Odinga has opposed the housing plan. What Raila Odinga has opposed is the 3%. And that's the point. Even Kenyans are not opposing slum upgrading or the fact that they want to eradicate slum. But what we are simply saying here is that for the last 5 years and even for the last 8 months, you have been doing it without the deductions. And so be it. Why can't you just continue doing it the way you were doing it, instead of then burdening people with it? It's been going on. You know, that's the point. It has been going on. Why don't you just continue with it instead of taking the 3%? So that propaganda that Raila is the person misleading the public, and I said that thing is misadvised, because the first group that objected were teachers. UASU, the Union of University Lecturers, have said no. Go and check hierarchy, the leadership of UASU. I don't think they are so close to Raila, including my friend Chibunet, my lecturer, Chibunet, who is William Ruto's closest ally. Yes, Chibunet campaigned for William Ruto and is a member of UASU, and UASU are saying no. So UASU is saying no. Out of 66 organizations and unions that presented their submissions, did their submissions in parliament, 55 said no. So do you want to say that all the 55 went through Capitol Hill before going to parliament? Even if Raila is that genius. So one of the things is to say the whole thing is good, the problem is that Raila is opposing it. Now, that is where you want to now to use politics so that the MPs should pass it to punish Raila. You know. So I look at that and I say no. Now, there is one that is very dangerous. President is creating some class wars. I listened to this speech. He is saying that salaried people are inciting non-salaried people to reject the bill. Let's be very truthful. The mandatory deduction of 3% is going to be deducted from the salaried fellows because their money can be accessed. I need to repeat that. The salaried people are complaining because those in the formal employment, for example, the civil servants, wao ndio pesa yao itatolewa. I saw Juakali sector being whipped to support the housing levy. Juakali sector, they are going, it's not a must they pay it. It will not be mandatory to them because there is no way government is going to get the 3% from them. So their position is inconsequential. True to it, Mama Mboga, boda person, taught a number, driver. The housing levy is not mandatory to you because there is no way a government is going to get your payroll. So even if it is deduction, how do government know the mechanic in Dagoretti Corner or the mechanic in Jogoo Road or the mechanic in Mombasa? How does government know your 3%? What you get? Because you make your money daily, you put it, transaction is between you and your client in your pocket and the story ends there. So there is no way government can tap into the informal sector. So there is a very long lie, and we need to say it as it is, and the people in the Juakali sector should get it. There is nothing like salaried people are inciting non-salaried. The salaried people are complaining because it is them that their payrolls are going to be raided. Those not in the payroll will not fall in that category. And so we are creating a cluster war. Some bit of what was the, it's so petty. No, let's be truthful. And that is, and let me say, someone should tell government, the reason why you even realize that people are even opposing it, it's that kind of a lie. You know, it's very annoying for you to say that a doctor is inciting a Juakali sector because a Juakali guy is not salaried. The truth of the matter is this. People in the Juakali are making good cash and good money than even some of these people who are salaried. Instead of raiding a teacher who is getting 36,000 to get his 900, why don't you look for new strategies, technological solutions, so that you can go and get something from the Juakali? You know, you cannot raid everything. And this is one of the strategies being used so that you create an us versus them. And he went there saying that because you pay tax to pay our salaries. The truth is everyone pays taxes. You know. And those people in the tax bracket, majority of them, direct taxation is the salaried. If pay as you earn is 30% below anyone earning below 500,000, tell me, between him and Mama Mboga, who is paying more taxes? Tukubaliane hapa. It's even a lie that Mama Mboga is paying more taxes than a teacher. Mama Mboga does not have direct taxation. There's no he's paying pay. But if it is about the consumption, so that VAT on goods, then everyone else is consuming goods. So it's a big lie. We are creating cluster war as a strategy to make sure that we suppress those opposing it. I've also realized the church is being smoothened. Hey. Now this is one. This is another one. I'll repeat. Evangelicals believe William Ruto, they put William Ruto into power, and the political kingdom is currently there because of spiritual kingdom. So one of the things they're supposed to do is to speak truth to power. And they should, because they gave us the president. But you know what has happened? Quiet. Evangelicals are quiet. Now, these are the fellows that brought UDA to power, according to them. I have seen Catholic putting their stand a no. I have seen Anglican saying a no. The mainstream churches have stood their ground, but the evangelicals have been smoothened. That is what Bill-Ngunyi calls M-Pesa bishops. Sorry to say, maybe they've been M-Pesa'd, and no pun intended. The smoothening has happened. You see the way President flew to Busia, church, housing fund, levy, asking Mtaani not to take him to court. On the other end, Thika dispatched another team in Thika, Mount Kenya team, talking to their voters about how the housing levy is the semi-god we have in this country. You see, Salim Davadi was dispatched, Boni Kalwale in a burial, you know, and we are simply using the church. And I really hold a lot of respect for those who say the truth. Miguna is saying the truth. People are saying it's wrong. And Okia Mtata is even saying it's illegal. By the Uhuru tried it and it failed. Uhuru also tried mandatory and it failed. 2, diversions to suppress attention. Maina Njenga story. The Maina Njenga story is neither here nor there. Let's speak truth to it. It's neither about what we're being told. It's just a diversion. It's a diversion targeting the youth of the mountain and the women. Together Gachagua was women in the mountain about how illicit brew here. We are creating diversions. The giant in the house is the Finance Bill 2023. Any other thing here about, it's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. If it's something as much as the Mungiki thing is going on, then you're arresting one person. Why don't you arrest all these Mungiki people and put them behind bars and process someone in court, not free on bond? And there are no tangible charges that you can even level against. So we have diversions to suppress. And lastly, I'm so scared that even the courts might be captured on this. Ruto is committed that this must sail with a Kamdekni or Kitni. Courts might also be captured to make sure that it sails. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening to me. That's the end of this podcast. Let's meet in the next.